eyes that don't sleep, lights is always shining, no matter the timing. NYC, the place you need to.
Y'all don't want to miss this information. I know y'all heard the live music, but now y'all about to get some gems for y'all too. You know what I mean? So, Jordan, Texas. I'm gonna tell y'all that I'm all the way from up north, Brooklyn, New York, in the house. You know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying my stay here. You know what I mean? It's my first time in Texas. So shout out to you guys, whoever's native here that's been showing us love. You know what I mean? Definitely want to come back out here and do some more stuff. You know, so if you don't know, right, I'm going to be speaking on health today. I'm actually I'm very long-winded. You guys can ask questions in the lecture, because if we wait till the end, we probably won't get any questions, right? So, and I also do know that I'm talking to make sure that there's enough time for everyone else to get what they need to get done. I'm also waiting for my brother shooting to get his video camera, so we make sure we get these jewelry. And myself, I'm a health master, so I took the health courses and things of that nature. So I'm a certified naturopath, and I'm also a herbalist. My wife is also a herbalist as well. We have our own business called Balance Healing. That's black power, that's black businesses right there. Make sure you support our own, make sure you support each other, right? Everybody else has their own businesses, and a lot of different vendors in here. I hope you guys are supporting everybody here, because this is how we circulate the Trinidad and Tobago, all the Caribbean islands are also in the Americas, if you didn't know, you know what I mean? So, they still fall in line at the end of the day. So, this instrument right here is also a percussive instrument. Have you guys ever seen a tongue drum? The hand drum, the people that use it, they hit it with their hand. That's like a secondary or runoff of this instrument. But I say that because we also use this instrument, me and my wife use it when she teaches yoga, and I do sound healing with this, right? Because I'm not sure if you're familiar with sound healing, how sound heals, sound different frequencies, solfeggio and binary beats and things of that nature. It's sound and tones and vibrations used to heal the body. Stop. We got the camera in the building. All right. So,
perfect hygienes, because people are technically nasty. You had to have a world say, look, y'all are doing poor within not taking care of yourself of cleaning your hands. I was like, wow, you really got to tell people that.
That's a fact. So bringing it back to the immune system, right? I have on the screen, I'm gonna read this real quick. So a healthy immune system, immunity in action. A healthy immune system can defeat invading pathogens as shown above, where two bacteria that cause gonorrhea are no match for the large phagocyte, it's funny to call it, called a neutrophil. That engulfs and kills them. If you can see the arrows right here, right? So boom, see the phagocytes, see how big they are, and then you see your immune system already see that joint coming in, and it's vaporizing it right then and there. Right, so what happens is, we all know what's going on with vaccines, right? You've all known about, the measles, chickenpox, all the different ones that they've been giving out. They put the virus, long story short, they put the virus in you so that your body can find them, not natural, and recognize exactly, right? Artificial immunity to it. So now, us understanding that, the reason why we didn't want our children or us having to take those vaccines is because we want our bodies to naturally come across this virus so it can build its own natural immunity. A lot of our people are dealing with pre-existing health conditions, which is why their immune system is already weak. That's the fact of the matter. And their immune systems are already weak. Why? Because of their lifestyle, because of their nutrition, because of their lack of exercise, their lack of breathing properly and probably having hypoxia and lack of oxygen. You know what I'm saying? The lack of circulation because they're not moving, their bones, ligaments. These are all different things. It's not just, even the lack of hygiene, right? A lot of times we get stuck on health and think it's just about eating properly and nutrition. I know a lot of vegans that smell, that their mental health is more out of whack, you know what I mean? So just because you're vegan does not clarify you to be, you're healthy because you're eating right. You know what I mean? No. So don't feel any way.
Your body's the same thing as congestion, something, because your skin has so many pores. That's how you congest things as well.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? So that's very important as well, understanding that, because when it ties back into our hygiene, you gotta understand, like, okay, cool, whatever you're putting on your body, like she said, you have microscopic pores that absorb whatever you're putting in, right? So the same thing you'd be looking for as far as the ingredients in the food you're eating, you should have that same energy when you're looking at hygiene products, what you're putting in your hair, what you're putting on your body, right? Because you see vegans using this stuff that if you was at their house and you see, oh, you use Vaseline, petroleum jelly. You know what that does to your pores, right? And then you'll just get into a debate with them about that. But yeah, like I said, understanding even to the clothes that you wear, cotton, linen versus polyester, nylon, all that stuff causes your pores as well, right? It can cause a lot of different things and rashes on the body because your skin can't what? Breathe.
Yeah, that's true. They got these underwear called Ethicas. In Baltimore, it's called Ethicas. They do boxes, but they giving it like a lot of men jock itch because it's nowhere to breathe. Like nowhere. It's just solid. There's no breathing.
Why would you want to wear something like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You need circulation. You need to make sure that the air is getting in there. Like, it's very important for that because guess what? In that area is dark.
Right.
And that area is dark. So what happens in the dark places, in the dark areas? A lot of parasites and funguses and things of that nature, bacteria grows, yeast grows in that area because the area is being covered for most of the day. You know what I mean? So be mindful of your hygiene as well, right? We're gonna time all that stuff. So yeah, keeping the immune system strong, right? So invariably, I'm gonna show you guys real quick what I've seen that can help you guys keep your immune systems up. Something real simple, and then we can talk more about it. But clearly, vitamin C, right? Where can you get vitamin C from? Of course, you're gonna get that from your natural source. The natural source, which is gonna be citrus fruits, right? The lemon, the lime, the oranges, the mandarin, the tangerine, grapefruit, right? These are real good. Of course, organic and seeded, right? If you want to talk about that, we'll talk more about that. But yeah, lemon and lime, something you should be doing every day in the morning. Pouring that or dropping that in your water. Hence the reason why, right? What happens is the water, think about it. If you just wanted to clean up something on the floor, right? Something very sticky, you would have just apply water on it because now the stick and the stain will still be there. You need to apply a cleaning agent. This is something that people use as soap, right? Another cleaning agent to help wash whatever you're doing. So the same thing applies inside of your body, especially with all the food that you eat. Especially if you're eating meat still, and if you're still eating the processed and all the other stuff. I'm not talking about the carbon-based meats, but I'm talking about all other yeah. You know what I mean? If you're doing all that stuff still, eating starch, eating dairy, eating all of the things that's causing the mucus in the intestinal walls, the mucus line inside the intestinal walls to get inflamed. Yeah, you got to make sure that you're doing that water and lemon because what that's going to do is going to flush all of that. Your intestines are very long. They're about 20 to 25 feet long, crooked up in here, right in your stomach like this. Then you have your transverse colon and semicolon. This is the large colon, right? So the large intestine. So what happens is the food got to pass through that, right? How is it going to get through? Oh, wait, let me pull up this. Man, I like to show visuals too. You know what I mean? So I do have it up here. I have the digestive system. Work with me, work with me. Are y'all enjoying it so far? Y'all like to move your hand?
Yes.
All right, cool. I'm loving y'all energy too. Digestive system. Let's talk about it. Okay, cool. So when you're looking at your digestive system, right? You gotta chew your food. You know where? Well, I just gave y'all a hint. You know where digestion starts up? Cool. So
That's why when they say you chew gum, you trigger your stomach to think that it's eating and it starts.
key. You're absolutely right. Oh, what's going on? Still loading? So yes, my brother is absolutely right. So, are you gonna open? Okay, let it load. It'll open. So the point is, yes, digestion starts off in your mouth, right? So what happens is, you see the food. You ever notice that your mouth gets watery? Yeah, the salivary glands are acting, right? That's a part of your endocrine system. Those glands are part of your hormones. Hormones do what? They give Instructions. Right? So they give instructions, and now your salivary glands start to act up. When you what? You see the food. You didn't even put it in your mouth yet, and guess what? You're smelling it too. Right? So all that is a part of the digestive, because why do you think your mouth puts saliva in there?
Digestive enzymes.
Yes. But see, that's more of the scientific term. Let's make it more simple, right? Digestive, because remember, your body does not want the food as a solid. You know in chemistry, you're solid, liquid, gas, matter, right? So your body does not want the food as a solid. You see a burger, a vegan burger, a chicken, whatever you see, whatever, the bison, your body doesn't want it as that. It wants it as liquid. So now your saliva is there to assist with that process. And you have 32 teeth to help you grind, chew, and break down this food. This is very important and another key to digestion, but a lot of people don't apply it. I see it here. I see it in other people. It is what it is. Some of us get food, we chew about 3-4 times, and we start swallowing. That's a fact, right? So what you're doing to yourself is you're causing more work on your digestive system. And guess what? 65% of your body's energy goes to digestion.
That's what immune system does.
Exactly. Right? So now you're applying more work on your digestive system when you're constantly, right, not chewing the food and just swallowing it whole. So now, check out what happens. You chew the food 2 times, you put it in your mouth, right? You gotta go down the esophagus. Once it goes down the esophagus, it's gonna meet the stomach, and that's where it has the hydrochloric acid, right? The stomach acid to help you do what? Break down, metabolize all the food, right? And this is the acid's gonna break it down to more of a liquid soluble, right? Because when it goes through your small intestines, it needs to be liquid. If you got any solids going on there, you know what that causes? Constipation. Right? Hence the reason.
Acid reflux.
And that acid, there you go too.
You feel it like
you can feel it coming right back up,
yeah.
right? So these are all of the things, like this is, like I said, we can make it real easy and simple. So like this is why this stuff is happening, because I'm doing this, like, okay, and these are the things that we can address little by little, and you will see the changes, right? So yeah, chewing your food properly. Like we don't even chew properly. You don't have that etiquette to, a lot of times where you might be eating food and walking around, you're doing your work, you're watching TV, or you got the kids, you got a kid right here, you're trying to eat, like, we don't even pay attention to our food. I'll give you an example of myself. Even when I first got into Arnold, I did 1 meal a day for 2.5 years, right? And the reason why I got into all that stuff was because more so, I was listening to a lot of the Fruit of Islam and Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad, and How to Eat to Live, right? 1 meal a day. But what I noticed during those times is like, if I'm eating once a day, I'm really making sure that meal is going to be the best meal. I'm not watching nothing. I'm paying attention to the meal. I'm sitting down. I'm enjoying the food because I already know I'm eating one meal. And you appreciate the food a lot more, especially when you make it, instead of having to get. That's another thing we got to start doing too. A lot of us are lazy and we always seeking out to Uber eat, somebody just bring us food versus us being in the kitchen and getting back into it. Yes, men too. My brothers, I'm in the kitchen too, right? Right, Queen? I'm in the kitchen, right? You know what I'm saying? Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the kitchen too. We gotta bust it down, right? And we gotta start making our food, right? We appreciate the food more. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more nutritious, and you actually know what's going inside of your body because food is your medicine. So when you're actually going outside of somebody else, you're allowing them to be your doctor. You're allowing them to put what's going on inside of you. Right? Let's not make it far-fetched. It's real simple, all right? Food is medicine. Your food is your medicine because your new blood cells are made inside of your gut. So everything inside of you is from what you ate, period, right? Your new blood cycles between 21 days and things of that nature. But still, all that stuff is coming. So if you're eating Cheetos, if you're eating Pop-Tarts, if you're eating junk food, if you're eating all that starch, dairy, your blood is that. That's what's coming up in you, and that's all going through your body. So that's the reason why if you have high blood pressure, if you have diabetes, if you have any things with cancerous cells, carcinogens from the foods that you're eating, it's a lot of it. Most of the issues that our people are dealing with are metabolic issues. Do you know what that means? I know it's a scientific term, but I can bet you. Metabolic, so your metabolism. Exactly. So it's basically the food that you eat. Simple. Most issues, the pre-existing issues that people are metabolic. If you look them up, right? Goddamn near all the cancers, you know what I'm saying? High blood pressure, diabetes. It's all nutrition. It's all what you put in your body. And we gotta understand that us living in the cities or wherever we're living at, even in the country, right? They don't necessarily put the best foods for us. And this is by design, it's not by accident. So we gotta be aware of that, right? But I know I can cut myself off and get like longer than camping. So back to the digestive system. So us understanding that, right? So the food goes down, right? And then now see the small intestines over here. You see how small that is? Like I said, if you take that out of your body, that's gonna be about 20 to 25 feet long, right? Your food has to pass through all of that, right? That's why it needs to be liquid. If you don't chew, it'll get clogged up in here. This could cause constipation, like the sister said, right? This could cause different lesions. This could cause you to have fatty blood because now you got the fat from the food going inside your blood, right? This can be another catalyst to having high blood pressure. All because we don't chew our food properly, right? And inside of your small intestines, you know what you have? We have these little, right? We have these little hairs called microvilli. Now the villi are these little hair particles that are used to absorb the nutrients and the minerals for the food that you're eating. If those things are clogged up with starch, with dairy, your body is not absorbing anything. So basically you're just putting food in and then it's just passing right out. You should also be going to the bathroom every day, right? So if you're not having a bowel movement every day, there's an issue. It's real simple. So if that's not happening, there's an issue and you need to address it. And the first step is awareness. Because once you are aware of the problem and you address the problem, then you will seek a problem. Come on, guys.
That was a fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank, man. You know what I'm saying? So we got the large intestine. You see how you have the ascending colon. So the waist has to go up here, go past the transverse, go down the ascending, and this is where you have your appendix, rectum, and your colon. So when you're doing the colonoscopy, a colon flush, all that waste is back up here. They put the water and all that stuff. Anybody here ever had a colonoscopy? So yeah, there you go. She knows how it goes. You know what I mean? So boom. And we also got to address the liver. Your liver is your biggest detoxing organ. Very important. You know what I mean? It's exactly what it's. Your question?
Is there I hear this thing of you gotta detox your colon first, then your liver. Is there like a actual formula to what you do first? Like,
That's a very good question. I would recommend, especially from what I've been taught in ARNA, and also heard from other different naturopaths and doctors, that the first thing you want to address is your liver, right? That's what I was taught to, right? And I also agree with it. I'm telling you that because I've seen it with my clients as well. As far as the first thing we should address is the liver. Why? Because it's literally one of the largest organs in your body and the largest detoxing organ. Meaning that it's there to detoxify. It's there to help you, right, get the waste, the toxins, the impurities, all the things out of your body. That's what it's designed to do. That's its main function, right? So it's going to help aid your colon in getting those things. It's also going to get the waste out, some of those impurities out before it even gets down there, because like I said, it's designed to do that. We have a lot of different filtration systems for the body and ways for, excretions for the body to get waste out, right? So you can get it out through phlegm, mucus, when your nose is burnt. You can get it out through sweat. You can get it out through, obviously, bowel movement, urination. So everything doesn't have to always come out that number 2, right? Because you always have other ways that the body is pushing waste out, right? So I would suggest the liver. And the liver, like I said, has so many different functions, right? There's also another way that's storing the ATP, and that's amine triphosphate, right? This is what is regulating your energy, right? So your liver is very important. We want to pay attention to that, right? So if you guys are drinking alcohol, right, you know that damages that, right? Even if it's the fermented grapes. No. Are we going to the bathroom correctly? We had a brother, I'm not sure, Powerton, he had asked me. Somebody, he was like, how do we address hemorrhoids, right? You know, I actually have a couple of clients with hemorrhoids. Thank you. Need some more water. Hydrate yourself and yourselves. Real good. So, he asked about hemorrhoids. So what I was saying is, we don't even need to talk about herbs just yet. Sometimes it's just protocol. And these are the things that practices, protocols, and principles that people should be following, right? So, are we going to the bathroom correctly? Right? So, are you guys familiar with a squatty potty? Raise your hand. If you're not familiar with it, are you never heard of it? Okay, cool. So this is very important because, you know, if we take it back to even before the toilets were invented, how do you think our ancestors were using the bathroom? Right? You were squatting, something natural, right? Oh, I just read that last one there. Okay? Right? And there's a reason behind why we do this, right? So I'm just going to show you guys, because the visual learners, right? Squatting. You guys squat. Right? Do you notice what happens with your back? You see your spine is in perfect alignment. Now, what happens when you're sitting in an L-like shape, like this? What happens is there now is your puborectalis muscle is being bent, right? You can see that on the screen, right? See the puborectalis muscle? See that, how it's contracting on that? And this is your rectum. So we saw in the last slide, you saw how the colon and the rectum was right there. So this is where all the waste is at. And you see that the puborectalis muscle is contracting on the anal canal. So now what happens is you're forcing your bowel movement out from this. Right? And then on top of that, like I said, if you're eating starch, dairy, all other waste stuff, how do you think waste is coming out of that? It's hard, right? So now you gotta press it out. And what is that gonna do? It's gonna cause a blood vessel to start hernia. And then that could lead to hemorrhoids. That's right. Right? You see this thing? So you see, this is what happens when you squat. You see your puborectalis muscle now, it's relaxed. Open. Right? And now also, you can just let gravity do its thing. So this is another reason why women, when they're having birth, right? They would do it that way too. You know what I mean? So it's real simple, common sense. I keep saying that all day, right? Bringing it back to common sense. Because this is something that our ancestors practiced. This is something they did, especially before toilets. And now, when you even look into the squatty potty, boom, they'll tell you this, right? This is convenient, sturdy, the structure is engineered to mirror the angle and efficiency of natural. See the words they're using? Natural, nature, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Squatting, while allowing for the luxury and comfort of your own toilet. Don't you want to be comfortable when you're having a bowel movement? Nobody wants to strain. You know what I mean? So we are designed. This is what's on the squatty potty. It says, we are designed to squat. Sometimes we don't even read what's on there because they're telling you right there, like, oh wow, the human body was designed to squat. But everybody's on the toilet, not squatting. And wondering why they have all these digestive issues, constipation, hemorrhoids, hernias, and all these other different ailments. Right? This is your colon. Puborectalis muscle, it stops the flow, squatty potty opens the colon, right? Boom. That's simple. Now I want to talk about a little bit about circadian rhythm. Is anybody familiar with that? No.
Okay.
Circadian rhythm. So they're, I love the I'll call it out. I'm wrong and strong if I call it, but I'm saying it. You know what I mean? But so you have 3 different cycles that's going on in the body, right? We got assimilation, elimination, and elimination. So what happens when your body is going through assimilation is nourishment, right? So the body is assimilating everything that you've eaten. Elimination, which is also another word for appropriation, is where the body is going through digestion, where it's actually metabolizing and breaking down everything that you ate. That's what I'm saying. Elimination is the waste, when your body is trying to get the waste out. So there's different cycles for this. This is why it's called a rhythm, right? So boom, let's talk about it. Oh, I don't know why it's showing up like that, but I'll still talk through it. So elimination is the first time that we're going to talk about. So these will be between the hours of 4 a.m. and 12 noon, right? This is an elimination period, right? So I'm going to read this up here. So the elimination period between the hours of 4 a.m. and 12 noon, the body does not digest during this period. Cleansing and releasing toxins. This is best time to eat fruits, right? Because they skip digestion process as well as being light on digestion. So let's talk about it, right? You should not be eating between the hours of 4 a.m. and 12 noon. That's why they say breakfast. No breakfast. Right? You don't want to break your fast then. Why? Because your body is going through the elimination cycle, right? What's happening during that time? You wake up in the morning, you have cold in your eye, you have wax in your hair, you have your ears, you gotta go to the bathroom. Right? You should have your bowel movement in the morning, or you have to urinate, right? You should definitely, you might have, like I said, plaque on the tongue. You might wake up with a runny nose. Women can wake up with a discharge. Men will wake up with their harder to make sure they go to the bathroom. What's other signs? All of these different, like I said, you have your eyes. So this is your body showing you that, oh, it's time to get the waste out. Right? And it happens every day. Every day you wake up with the same things. Common sense, not common. Every day. These are, like I said, you wake up with morning breath. Right? So you need to brush your teeth, right? Because you got the waste in your mouth. Body's trying to get all of it out. Right? So here's another source right here. So if a blood test was to be taken every 24 hours, it would show that the bloodstream is most heavily burdened with byproducts of metabolism during the hours of 4 a.m. and 12 noon. Indicating the stepped up elimination cycle, because it is the blood that carries the waste material to the 4 channels of elimination, which is your bowels, your bladder, your lungs, and your skin. Because yes, you can also wake up what? Sweating. You wake up perspiring. Your underarms, if you got hair down there, it's trapping all that waste. You know what I'm saying? So your body is literally showing you every day, I gotta get the waste out of you. Okay? Right? So that's the elimination cycle. Right? So what is the elimination cycle? The elimination period is sometimes referred to as purpurnation, between the hours of 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. Right? This is when the body is most active, efficient during that. This is when you have the most efficient digestion. Why? Because this is the best time to eat a heavily concentrated food. Metabolism is raised and burning and breaking down the food. So what happens between 12 and 8 is obviously the sun is at its highest peak. Serotonin is in the atmosphere. So when serotonin is in the atmosphere, guess what? The sun is out and you're getting all the photons and the light codes from the sun. And this means you should actually be active, be moving your body. You might be at work between these times. People are going to the gym, you know what I mean? Because the sun is out, the sun brings people out. I mean, it's raining, most people are inside. The sun is out, you're outside, especially when it's out at its highest peak, right? So this is the time to be outside and moving, because guess what happens when it's body movement? Metabolism, right? This is why it's actually good for you to be moving, right? Moving your body. This is how you cause circulation. This is what happens during the elimination period. So boom. Then we have the assimilation period. This is between the hours of 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. This is the time for nourishment, rebuilding and healing our bodies, assimilating and absorbing minerals and nutrients from the food and is transported to our organs, tissues, blood, cells, bones, etc. Food should be eaten and digested early to allow the stomach to be empty as a preparation for this cycle. Nutrients are absorbed, toxins get ready for the elimination cycle. I know I said a lot here, but this is a very important period between the hours of 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. Right? I know sometimes you see people, they got the 24-hour drive-through, like 3 in the morning, and somebody's going to get a full course meal, right? That is a no-go. That is not a good thing to do. If you're going to be eating at that time too, it should be something very light and fruits. The reason why I said you should eat, if you want to eat in the morning, it should be fruits. And if you want to eat during this time, it should be fruits. The reason why is because fruits are 60 to 70%, sometimes 80% water, just like your body. So when you bite into it, it breaks down into water, right? So just like a watermelon, your body doesn't have to apply energy to break it down. And remember, 65% of your body's energy goes to digestion. But the fruit skips that process because it doesn't have to work to break it down. And guess what? It gives you the carbohydrates to fuel you. It gives you the natural blood sugar. It gives you glucose. That's going to give you energy. So it's going to give you energy on top of skipping digestion. So that's why we recommend eating fruits, right? If you do choose to eat in that period of time. But during the assimilation period, we want to make sure that we're not eating here, right? Because what happens? You're getting prepped for the elimination cycle. This throws off rhythm. Like I said, circadian rhythm. It's going to throw the rhythm off because now your body, the cells that actually do the digestion are dormant. So they're not working to digest the food at this period of time. So if you're putting food in your body, guess what happens? It's just inside of your stomach, inside of the stomach acid. And you know what happens when you wake up in the morning? You smell what you ate at 3 in the morning. Because it didn't go anywhere. It's still in your stomach. And fermented. And now, it didn't get to your small intestines yet. And guess what? And then you want to have breakfast on top of that. and then another snack at lunch. And you didn't go to the bathroom yet. So these things is what leads to the digestive and the metabolic issues. And I'm pretty sure we all know people, or we used to, or still do, done these things. Or do these things. Right? So, but you see, I didn't have to come up here and say a whole bunch of big words to make you guys understand where I'm coming from. And the truth will stand on its own. We speak truth to power. Right? You know what I mean? So it is what it is, and this is what's gonna happen, right? We gotta let our people know. Starch. We all know what starches are, right? This is what happens when you actually boil rice for a long period of time. See that? You get rice glue. They actually sell this in Korea, right? You just put rice in a pot and just boil it. And you get something sticky like that. And this is what most of starches does, right? So what is starch, right? Carbonic acid. It can also cause some cases, in some very hard cases, the body has trouble digesting it. And it's also one of the leading ingredients in crack, the gluten, the wheat, the carrots, corn are starch-based, right? So we have to be mindful of the starches that we keep eating, because a lot of vegans are, I don't like to say this stuff, starchitarians, right? Because now they just like to consume a whole bunch of starch, which are refined carbohydrates, right? And we gotta be mindful because, like I said, starch boiling for a long period of time turns into a glue-like substance. So imagine this glue in your intestinal walls. That's gonna be blocking up the microvilli, so you won't be absorbing any nutrients. So if you do a scan with my wife or myself today, or with Mercedes, right, we can show you right in your small intestine, your digestive system, your GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract, show you whether or not you're absorbing nutrients or not. And then we can show you clearly, like, okay, cool, your villi is blocked up, you're not absorbing anything, right? So you're like, oh my God, I've been vegan for 3 months or 6 years or however long, and I'm eating, and I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't feel good still. Well, you've been eating all this stuff and your body's not absorbing anything from it. So have you ever done a cleanse? Have you ever done a detox? Have you ever flushed your body out properly? Because if you've been vegan for 3 years, but you're actually 33, so you've actually been putting more waste in your body for 30 years than you've just been vegan for 3 years, and you didn't do the proper practices, protocols, and principles to actually address all the other things that you've done to your body from before, then yeah, you're still gonna have issues, right? Like I said, there's levels to how people are coming into the health game, and you know what I mean? Because, like I said, you can be vegan, and you can be going to a whole bunch of different vegan restaurants and buying Beyond Meat burgers, Impossible Meat burgers, or you can be going to the stores and seeing, it's natural, it's organic, I'm buying it. Don't even turn around, look at the ingredients. You're just buying it because it says it's natural, it's organic, it's fresh, and you don't know what's in that joint. You know what I mean? So there's levels to it. There's people that constantly want to go to vegan restaurants. You know what I mean? And some people just want to make their own food. And then we're going to have the level of it with people that grow their own food and eat what they grow. Because now you actually know what's in the soil. You actually know if they actually have all the minerals that they say it is. Right? Because people are going to tell you, make sure you have an arugula and dandelion. It's real high in calcium, real high in iron. How do you know that? You know what I mean? Especially if you're not getting from the farmer's market. That's another reason why I like to suggest the farmer's market. You guys go to the farmer's market, guess who you can talk to? The farmers. The farmers, like, hey, yo, what kind of soil you use? You use the NPK ones, the nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, or are you using carbon-based fertilizer? You can actually ask them these questions. And then they gotta answer you. Like, oh yeah, we good. Like, we use this, or no, we use that. Oh, I'm not buying from this farm. I'm gonna use this farm over here. And they got all the good stuff. You know what I mean? So, versus you go to Whole Foods, hey, how was this grown? These guys are like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you get the manager, they don't know nothing. Remember, everything's important to those people. And we know about Whole Foods, Monsanto's, all that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, levels. There's levels to it, but everybody, we all doing these things because we want to see something better amongst ourselves when it comes to our health and our nutrition and our wellness. Right?
Good teaching, God.
Oh, I appreciate you, King. That's love, family. You know what I mean? So now we also got dairy, right? These are the things that we want to make sure we're not consuming because what can this stuff cause? You know what I mean? Pus.
I tried to stop when I was inspired and I went cold turkey. I'm like, let me try this. That right there was one of my hardest things to shake. Cheese. And I never realized it. I never realized it until I tried to stop. I'm like, oh, what? Yo, I'm really addicted. It's like an addiction. Like,
oh yeah, it's definitely an addiction. You know why it's an addiction? What do they call it? The FDA. What is it? The Food and what? Drug Administration. Yeah. So it's drugs that they are the biggest drug dealers on the planet. Literally, the pharmaceutical company and the foods. When you go to the grocery market or the grocery store, you're looking down the aisle, you're looking at straight drugs. Every last one of them. You know why? Because they're all pumped up with a bunch of sugar, right? Which is another drug, classified as a drug. Right? So we gotta be mindful of all of that. So what is dairy? Contain anything from anything from a cow, right? Made from milk, such as all low-fat chocolate milk, ice cream, cheese, butter, sour cream. All dairy comes from cows. 21 million calves are slaughtered every year globally in order to produce cheap beef, fast food, restaurant hamburgers, and steak. To keep cows lactating, they're inseminated, right, by force, right? And artificially, sorry, there's a typo there. Artificially, this is to produce more calves and for them to be slaughtered, right? Statistics say between 60 and 75% of people are lactose intolerant, right? So that's another thing. Remember, you hear about, anytime you hear saccharide, trisaccharide, polysaccharide, these are different sugars. And when you hear close, sucrose, galactose, lactose, fructose, high fructose, corn syrup, glucose is a natural sugar. That's what you should be getting. You know where you're going to get that from? Fruits. And it's just so powerful, it's so amazing, because when you look at a mango, and you look at an apple, or you look at a watermelon, it's CHO, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen that comes together, right? Carbohydrates, and makes this wonderful expression of nature. But it shows in different colors, depending on the geographical location that you're in. Let's say if you're in Jamaica, you might see some small yellow, green baby bananas. But you're in Africa, you're gonna see a bright red, bright red mango. You know what I mean? Because remember, the geographical location is gonna depend on how much photons and light goes again from the sun, which will aid that fruit. And what in the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen that's coming together to create that fruit. Because CHO is what's creating all of these different fruits, right? So what happens when you add the N to it is how you get protein. That's a whole other conversation, right? Because, learning from Ali, the carboxylic acid, carbon beans, right? So we want carboxylic acid, not necessarily the amino acids, right? Like you said, we're just gonna give you indigenous science talk, food science for ourselves, right? Like I said, if you guys got any questions, make sure y'all cut me off and talk, because I see you right there. But fatty acids, pus cells, feces, BGH, and milk. BGH is bovine growth hormone, right? So inside of cows, their milk that they lactate is the BGH, which is the bovine growth hormone. This is for a calf to grow into a cow. Okay, cool. Right? Inside of humans, we have the HGH. You know what that's called? Human growth hormone, right? So that's what our mothers, right? Beautiful mothers, right? Shout out to all the mothers in the building. Let's give them a Queen mother, you know what I mean? Breastfeeding, our young ones, I'm saying, so to make sure that we can grow into a healthy human, right? So when we're, all right, is anybody in the room a cow? Raise your hand if you're a cow. Okay, cool. So,
They would say, moo.
all right. So nobody in here is a cow, right? But we are constantly eating, right, the dairy, the cheese, right? We're eating of another being, of another animal, and what can that stuff be called? There's so much pus and all these different things. These aluminum inside of these milks, right? And now, in the dairy industry, they're using this stuff to say, ooh! I'm cutting myself off. I want to throw this gender in. So you guys see what they're doing with all the celebrities with the COVID vaccine, how to throw Morgan Freeman, how to throw Magic Johnson and Arsenio Hall. Like, yeah, you gotta get the vaccine, da, da, da. Because, you know, these are influential people and celebrities, especially for the black community, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the dairy industry did the same goddamn thing with the milk got milk? All the basketball players with the white got milk shirts. Make sure the dairy company did the same tactic, right? It's all about marketing, and they know that they can utilize this black screen, this black mirror, against us, right? This is the weapon of mass distraction. Not destruction, distraction. To literally distract you from what's really going on in the world. Oh, she gave me a clap. Ooh. Y'all gotta help her. Y'all gotta add on to the clap. Appreciate you, guys. You know what I'm saying? But nah, that's true fact. And I'm speaking truth to power, and this is what it is. Right? So we gotta be mindful, like I said, of all of those things that they're putting in front of us on the TV screen. Right? Because same thing, we was talking earlier about the COVID, and everybody's like, oh, I gotta keep wearing a mask, I gotta keep doing this, I gotta get the vaccine, because that's what you're seeing on TV. Stop watching the TV. Find another source, channel, or just turn it off. Literally, because...
I don't watch television. Who watches television? I just watch...
Let's give it up for him. Who watches television? You know what I'm saying? Television. Programming. Right? They're literally programming people, they're conditioning you, they're warping you to literally think the way they want you to think. And they're actually going after our babies. They don't really care about us anymore that's actually in our older range. If you look at Disney and all other people that's like actually showing stuff to the children, the stuff that they're putting in there, like you need to make sure you watch what you show your children before they watch it. Literally. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff on TV that you definitely would, I wouldn't approve this. Why is my child even watching this stuff? Right? But they know that this is another way they utilize to program them. And once they got your kids, they're raising your kids now. Right? And then you seeing little old Johnny come in your room like, yo, where you getting that language from? They watching it on YouTube. They already know how to be on the phones. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another, you know how I go off on tangents, things of that nature. Right? So yes, dairy, we want to make sure we stay away from the dairy. There's a whole bunch of different articles on dairy. And the aluminum, because we saw the aluminum in the milk, right? Tying this back into, obviously aluminum is a metal, right? This is also one of the leading things that's inside of these deodorants, tying it back to the hygiene of what people are using, right? I don't know if any of the brothers ever had like these spores or things growing out of their arms from the deodorants they've been using. I had some clients with that issue because of all these different parabens and all these different ingredients that's inside of that stuff, right? Women kind of get the same stuff when sometimes they use it under their breasts and things of that nature, right? They'll use deodorant and whatnot. And this is a leading cause of breast cancer, right? So we gotta be mindful of what we're putting on our bodies as well as what we're putting in our bodies, right? Hygiene. Right? So I'm not going to stay on this too long, but yeah, and then there's poison in the water, right? Fluoride, of course, mass produced. You know what I'm saying? Globally, right? Get yourself a shower filter, get yourself a water filtration system if you can. You know what I mean? Working within moderation. You know what I mean? Because water is key. It's also in your toothpaste, another part of your hygiene, right? Guys gotta floss. You guys don't floss. I mean, I'm actually giving you guys a lot of this stuff because I teach this to my students. We run a homeschool that has over 200 students, and we have to teach health in a way that from mental health, emotional health, social health, cultural health. Then we got nutrition, we got hygiene. So we got oral hygiene, bathing hygiene, hair hygiene, right? The whole curriculum when it comes down to health, right? And then you got disease and common illnesses. We gotta make sure you do the anatomy and physiology, right? We have to break it down because health is not just what you eat. It's literally, remember, if you don't have your health, you ain't got nothing, right? Bill Gates, not Bill Gates, what's his name? Apple guy, Steve Jobs, had over $1 million in his personal bank account. It didn't save him from cancer. Rest in power to Chadwick Boseman, 43 years old. Cancer took him out. Money is not gonna save the day. But, yes, shout out to all of the jurists, my economic Bible pushers, you know what I'm saying? We need our money, you know what I'm saying? But your health is your wealth. Literally. Don't you want to be here to enjoy the money? You don't want to be in your deathbed or whatever, the hospice, got all this money, but you can't enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So, alkalinity versus acidity. I get into this talk a lot with a lot of people because just because you're alkaline, you're eating alkaline does not make you healthy. Sometimes you can overdo it and actually cause alkalosis. When you overdo it with acid, it's acidosis, so we gotta be familiar with those things, right? So, pH levels, right? Potential hydrogen, that's a pH over 7, right? Your body wants it literally like 7.3, right? Naturally. Anything under 7 is acidic. Your body wants it to be naturally a 7.3 pH level. Too much alkaline can cause alkalosis, right? And too much acidity can cause acidosis. I don't know why I don't have that there. But I want to read this quote from Dr. Oliver Warburg because he won a Nobel Peace Prize. This is also a gem that I did get from Ali's course, right? So we got actually read the whole thing because he discovered the root cause of cancer. And this is what I tell to all of my cancer patients or anybody that's ever come to us that had an ailment with cancer or whatnot, and we're trying to give them suggestions, especially while they're still on chemo or whatever they're addressing. Like, look, I like to go to the root cause. They're gonna go to the inception of the issue. Where did it start? Because sometimes you gotta talk like, oh, this is going on, like, no, let's go to how this thing started. Let's go right to the beginning, right? So Dr. Oliver Warburg discovered the root cause of cancer in 1923. 1923, that's how long ago it was. And he received the Nobel Peace Prize for doing so in 1931. Dr. Warburg was director of the Kaiser Well Institute, now Max Planck Institute for Cell Physiology at Berlin. He investigated the metabolism in tumors and the respiration of cells. Metabolism, how they're breaking down in the respiration, how those cells are breathing, getting oxygen, right? Particularly cancer cells. Below are some direct quotes by Dr. Oliver Warburg during his medical lectures where he was a keynote speaker. Cancerous cells are acidic. Say it again. Tissues. Cancerous tissues are acidic, whereas healthy tissues are alkaline. Water splits into H positive and OH negative ions, hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen negative ions. Are you guys familiar with negative ions and positive ions?
Ionized water.
Okay. Yeah.
Has anything to do with?
Not necessarily, because when we talk about the negative ions inside of the air, I'm thinking more specifically about the air, because you know inside of, okay, so when you're in the Caribbean, when you're in Africa, when you're in South Florida, when you're in around a lot of nature, nice plants, they release negative ions, right? And when you're inside of the car or you're inside of the airport and you have the AC on, they're releasing positive ions. What they're doing to the oxygen inside of the air, it's not necessarily oxygen that you're breathing, right? So this is what's causing, like, you ever felt like you can't really breathe when you're inside of a car with AC? It's not fresh oxygen that you're getting. That's literally positive ions that you're getting. Hence the reason, this is another reason why our ancestors, even sometimes some of our grandmothers, always had things like snake plants and all these other things in our homes to actually showcase why, hold up, because I actually have that in some of my presentation, right? So snake plant, bamboo, spider plants, peace lilies, the elephant air plant, golden pathos. These plants are, I don't know, but y'all, when I grew up, my mom and grandma had all these plants in the house. Didn't know why, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, they're producing natural oxygen that we should be breathing, right? I don't know why I got too twisted there, but it's all good, right? So bringing it back to what Dr. Otto Warburg was saying, right? Why is it not? Take your time down. Okay, boom. And so if there's an excess of H positive, right, those positive ions, it's going to be acidic, right? So those positive ions are going to cause those cells to be acidic. And if there's an excessive of OH negative ions, right, then it's alkaline. In his work, The Metabolism of Tumors, he demonstrated that all forms of cancer are characterized by two basic conditions. Acidosis, like I said earlier in the PowerPoint, too much alkali is going to cause alkalosis, too much acidity is going to cause acidosis, right? So, in his work, right, two conditions, acidosis and hypoxia. So the body is too acidic, and hypoxia is the lack of oxygen. I said that earlier to you guys too, about hypoxia. So lack of oxygen and acidosis are two sides of the same coin, where you have one, you have the other. All normal cells have an absolute requirement for oxygen. We spoke about oxygen. That's why I started this whole presentation off with the mask, to show you guys, right, the respiratory system, right? Because we're speaking about how important to have our oxygen is, right? So all normal cells have an absolute requirement for oxygen. But cancer cells can live without oxygen. Let me say that again. Cancer cells can live without oxygen. All normal cells, it's a necessity, it needs oxygen, but the cancer cells can live without it. And you know what happens with some cancer cells, right? They go through mitosis and then they reprocreate and then it just takes over, right? So we have to address the fact that tissues in the body are now acidic and there's a lack of oxygen coming into me. So how do I address that issue, right? Remember, I said earlier that a lot of the times we're not even breathing properly. We don't breathe it through our nose and out through our mouth. So now we're not getting the oxygen. And with the pandemic that's been going on, we're even covering our faces and nose to make sure that we're not getting more oxygen. Another tactic to stop us from getting oxygen. This is another thing that can lead to make our body more susceptible to viruses, because it's weakening our immune system, and it's also raising up our CO2 levels, right? Which could be causing damage inside of our liver, inside of the kidney, and on top of that, it's lowering our O2 levels. So we're not getting oxygen, we can make our body more susceptible to different viruses. Because now you're not getting oxygen. Woo! No. So, what you call it? So, we gotta be mindful of all that stuff. So, deprive a cell of 35% of its oxygen for 48 hours, it may become cancerous. Deprive a cell, right? Speaking specifically, deprive a cell of 35%, that's not even over half, right, of its oxygen for 48 hours, it may become cancerous. That's very important, because how long are people's cells going without oxygen? Some of us are not even in the proper environment. We're not breathing properly. If we're always breathing positive ions, because we're always in a central air environment with the house having the AC blasting, you're in your car, the track, you're not having the windows open, getting fresh air. How many times you actually breathe? And then you got the mask on. So how many times you actually think that your body is getting fresh oxygen? And people are surprised when they go to the doctor and they find out, oh, you're pre-diabetic, or hey, you got some signs of this, or hey, you got stage 1 this, lung, leukemia, all cancer. This is all cancer, the root cause of cancer. So every last one of them starts with this. Your tissues are acidic. You won't got enough oxygen inside you. That's how we address everyone. And he got a Nobel Peace Prize for this. I didn't make this up. You guys can do your research, like I said. Don't listen to anything I said. Boom. So this is Dr. Otto Warburg. Dr. Warburg made it clear that the prime cause of cancer is oxygen deficiency, brought by toxemia. Dr. Warburg discovered that cancer cells are anaerobic. You guys are familiar with that? Anaerobic? And then, well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then aerobic would be with oxygen, or oxygen promoting. That's why they say do more aerobic exercises, right? That'll cause your body to breathe and cause you to breathe, right? When you're doing things that are anaerobic, do not breathe oxygen and cannot survive in the presence of high levels of oxygen. So those cells, those cancer cells are anaerobic. They don't like oxygen. They don't like water. They're hydrophobic. So sometimes we don't even drink enough water. We're dehydrated. I'm dehydrated. Give me some water. Okay, now these are cute now. But yeah, so bringing it back to alkalinity. Oh, yes, fasting. We all know about fasting. I don't need to preach to the choir. You guys all you know discipline, having discipline. Fasting produces discipline, right? My wife tells me I did a 2.5-year fast when I ate 1 meal a day. I didn't think so. I thought it was my lifestyle, but yeah. And I also done 30-day fast, water fast, 7-day fruit fast. When you know that you can actually deny yourself the food that's supposed to be cleansing you, then you know you can actually do diet. That was my key to my discipline. If I know that I could not eat food or not consume food, I can willingly deny it, then I can stop weed, I can stop everything else. Sex, whatever it is, like you know what I'm saying? Like it could go, because I'm actually stopping the thing that's nourishing my body, right? Or supposed to keep me alive, right? So it really produces a lot of discipline. So you can cut up the TV, and fasting is good for everything. So fast from TV for 2 weeks, watch how much work you get done. You know what I'm saying? Fasting. I know when I met my wife, she was doing talking fast. Like, oh, I'm not talking to anybody today. I'm being silent. You know what I mean? I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be all in myself today, self-love, and I'm not saying a word to nobody. You know what I mean? So it's good to have those kind of fasting and to rejuvenate yourself, right? That's real important. That's key. Agriculture, we got to grow our own. I'm in New York, you know what I'm saying? Me and the wife in the backyard, we grew callaloo, we grew peppers and onions. Scallions. Onions didn't grow. You know what I mean? We actually had some failures. You know, it's all experimentation. You try, you know what I'm saying? You get what you can get. Especially in New York, it's very hard to grow food up there because it gets cold and we don't get a lot of sunlight as you guys would get in Texas or in Florida. But, you know, there's no excuse. We've done it. We've done it. You know what I mean? So the point is to get into that level of like, yeah, because why do you think that you have to be on the planet and have to pay for food? You got to pay to live? God damn, like, you know what I'm saying? You guys own everything. You guys are holding the oranges hostage. I got to pay you for food that grows abundantly on these trees? Think about that. You know what I mean? So if we just start growing our own food and our ancestors were doing these things, we've done lost because the weapon of mass distraction. Right? They got us distracted and we don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, these are a whole bunch of transition foods. But guess what? You see what I have here? All these things, all these different transitions. This is also inside of me and my wife's cookbook. We have our cookbook, Balance Healing, Vegan Cookbook, Volume 1. You know what I'm saying? We official authors. You know what I'm saying? We got an ISBN number. It's over there. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. No, I'm actually going to run and go get it. I know y'all can still hear me, right? Y'all can still hear me, right? You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all go get that. You know what I'm saying? We got this great vegan cookbook over here. You know what I'm saying? We got the best meals. You know what I'm saying? It's all indigenous food science. So the physical copy is 20. We have an ebook that's 15. So we can email you the ebook and you can have it on your phone, laptop, however you want it, or whatnot. We got Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle.
We'll be over there.
We're going to be over there and doing everything. So, what you call it? I'm going to tell y'all a little bit, some of the meals in here, because we got pizza, waffles, hot chocolate, nuggets made from chickpeas, burro banana fries, porridge, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's every meal. You got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know what I'm saying, for you, and less than 5 ingredients or 5 ingredients for some of the meals. And it's real simple. Everything is carbon-based, natural, you know what I'm saying? So Make sure you get that. Oh, and like I said, all that. We also have a transitioning chapter in here. So if you go to the grocery market, you go to the farmer's market, you don't know what to buy. We got a list of fruits, list of ancient grains, list of veggies, list of salts and different syrups. Nuts and seeds, grains. We got all that stuff in here that if you don't know what to get, we got a whole shopping list for you in here on top of that. You know what I mean? So, bam. That's a bigger cookbook. I mean, we also got our thermoses over there, and I want y'all to support all the vendors over there. All the vendors over there. I'm about to wrap it up for y'all real quick, but I do want to leave y'all with some words of wisdom. Can I leave you with some words of wisdom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Y'all here with me?
Yeah.
I said, when was God born? Does he have a beginning? Is there an end to this world that we living in? Question after question, I want to know. I keep digging in. I'm hearing all these answers, but I notice something missing, man. Am I a missing man? On a milk carton or on the news, but still walking in existence, man. Can't see me, but can you hear me? Are you listening? Truthfully, I'm here trying to be a different man. I'm tired of being locked up in precincts and taking headshots like fat girls on Instagram. I'm trying to make my record clean, spick and span, be the best father I could be for my little man, keeping all that negativity at a distance, man. Even though sometimes a negative can lead to a positive, but not all the time hard work leads to a scholarship, because most of the time it's favoritism and politics. Yeah, I notice it and I acknowledge it. Some don't, but a lot of y'all notice and even proud of it. It's time to stop thinking outside the box and take your mind and your body and yourself up out of it. This ain't a joke, kid. This is how I focus. I can't think in a box. I'm claustrophobic. Y'all should quote this. Mistakes are life best teacher. You gotta follow first to know how to be a leader. Listen, y'all, tell her how it is. I ain't a preacher. I used to be the same. Think I ain't learned nothing neither. Either way you look at it, I'm right when I say knowledge eternal. We learn something new every day in every way. But if you ain't using it, you're losing it. Gotta do your due diligence before confusion hits. You can watch all of YouTube docs, read all the books you caught, but when it's time, what you gonna do with it? You gonna stand in your square, stay true with it, or you gonna decide to code switch and coon with it? I done seen people do too much research, couldn't handle all the info, and their mind started losing it. Black, white, up, down, left, right, hot, cold, dark, light, north, south, east, west, yin, yang, God, girl, that's life. You get it? You need balance. Before you just mindlessly wander in this land like Alice, please know my intent is not to speak with malice because I'm passionate. I ain't having it. You never catch me faking it. That's facts. Like that COVID vax, I ain't taking it. My holistic health intact. That's why I'm making it. The only power I know is black. Yeah, I'm saying it. The jack of all trades is back. Yeah, I'm claiming it. I'm perfect, man. I hope y'all enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? Peace and love to the family. Go support everybody and say shout out to God. Peace to the family. Yeah. Now that's more like it, family. That's black power right there. Indigenous power.